Hi, my name's Phil. I like to talk about politics, and in this video I like to discuss how the India trade deal is leading to a spectacular split amongst Brexiteers. I mean, minor fault lines were developing last night, but now they've really widened up. Never mind Conservative MPs disagreeing. We've even had a split developing within the shadow cabinet. As for the Brexiteers outside the Tory party, GB News hailing the deal as a big win. But their star attraction, Nigel Farage, as well as his former bro Rupert Lowe, absolutely scathing about it. I mean, this deal was always going to poke at the underlying racism within Brexit, but it's spectacular just how deeply this has divided Brexiteers. But first, for daily news and commentary, please hit the subscribe button to stay notified. Okay, so I did not expect to do two videos on one trade deal in a single day, especially with everything else happening right now. But the divisions this is causing amongst Brexiteers is quite remarkable. So the first thing to point out, as I did in my video this morning, is there is no immigration element to the deal with India. One of the major issues facing Rishi Sunak when he was trying to get this deal over the line was that India's main interest was people, not so much goods. Like many countries, they see the economic benefit of having your people experience work in other countries. Then you learn their ways and you come back and share good practice. So there was a big push from India for an agreement that would make it easier to have Indian citizens working in the UK for a few years before returning to take up posts back home. But this didn't feature in the deal. Not a single extra visa is going to result from this deal. It doesn't have any impact on immigration at all in terms of what we know so far. So why are Brexiteers split on the deal? Well, because it's highlighting the inherent racism in Brexit. See, when Brexit supporters say Brexit wasn't just about racism, there's an element of truth in that. Not all Brexit supporters are racist or support it for racist reasons, but there are plenty who do. Why, for example, are there complaints about the India trade deal when there's not a single part of it which doesn't exist in other trade deals, which even the Conservatives agreed? Not a word of complaint from Farage or anyone else for those other trade deals. Even the grace period on national insurance for Indian workers on secondment's not unique. We do the same thing for workers from many other countries as well. Why is it an issue here and it wasn't for those other countries? Like Starmer even pointed out in PMQs, we have the same clause for 50 other countries. If the Tories are arguing that we should tear those other agreements up, even though they agreed them, they should say so. They have not said so. In terms of what's known, there's really nothing to pick fault at here. It lowers tariffs between the two markets, so trade becomes cheaper in both directions. The free market champions like Jacob Rees-Mogg love this. He has been praising the deal for this very reason, along with a whole range of other Conservatives. It will make some of the goods we already import from India cheaper, so it helps reduce the cost of living a little bit. In fact, generally just speaking, just counters any inflationary pressures which may result from Trump's trade war. It will also provide easier access to the Indian market for British exporters to help diversify some of that trade away from America. The waiver on national insurance for seconded workers is reciprocated. It applies to British workers in India under exactly the same arrangements. So it's not one-sided. It helps British workers as well. There's no change to standards rules. You know, I had some questions about would this cause difficulties with our discussions with the EU? Not at all. The deal is tariff reduction, not standards. So it doesn't hamper our ability to get a better trade agreement with the EU, unlike the trade deal Trump wants us to agree. There's literally nothing to complain about. And so obviously, is there nothing to complain about? It even looked like the Conservatives were up for taking the credit. It's the least controversial trade deal we had since leaving the EU. So everyone's happy then, yeah? Well, Andrew Griffith, who's Kemi Badenoch's shadow business secretary, he praised the deal. So it's like, oh, so the Conservatives are happy then, it's just Nigel Farage whinging. Until that is, last night, Robert Jenrick, the shadow home secretary, attacked it. Oh dear. Was Jenrick stepping out of line again? Was Badenoch going to have to slap him down? After all, she was the business secretary until last summer. Surely she would love to take credit for laying the groundwork for this celebrated deal. But no. She has then spent PMQs today in a confused mess, unable to decide whether it was better to attack the split in Labour over winter fuel payments or attack the India trade deal. So she tried both. She has come out strongly against the deal, thus meaning she can claim no credit for any part in it. But in this, just like in so many other things, she's setting herself up in opposition to her party and aligning with Reform UK for no good reason, because Farage is against the deal. He claims it's a big tax exemption for Indian workers, undercutting British ones. But as I explained in the video this morning, it's wage positive for British workers. It's also tax positive. In other words, the deal has been calculated to boost both British worker pay and tax revenues. It does include a tax exemption, a tax break, but the deal overall provides a net boost to taxes as a result of the stronger trade. Remember, in any trade agreement, you give some and you take some. So there's always elements of any trade deal that you'd rather not have, but you're not getting the benefits without that. And the benefits outweigh the downsides. The thing with tax breaks is you have to work out which ones are good value and which ones are not. This one is considered worth it because it's an investment to get more money back. Farage is also objectively wrong to say it discriminates against British workers because British workers are getting the same exemption under exactly the same circumstances in India. And I said this morning, it doesn't apply to all Indian workers. It only applies to those on temporary secondment from India itself. It is also time limited. But what a split we're seeing. Said many times before that Brexit groups, they spent, when a lot of people weren't paying attention to them because they were busy fighting each other, they spent many years being very split. They spent more time attacking their own side for minor little deviations in views than their opponents. Does that sound familiar? They got Brexit over the line by working together. But now the fault lines are appearing again now that they've got their Brexit. The media, including GB News, is supportive of the deal. Most Tory MPs are supportive. They're trying to hail it as a Brexit benefit. The Shadow Business Secretary was supportive. Even some real proper famous diehard Eurosceptics in the party, you know, the very ones who twisted David Cameron's arm in the first place to allow Brexit to even be possible, they're in favour. It only seems to be Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch, who are too stupid to understand the political game, who think they need to oppose it. Now, being clear, they're only opposing it strategically. Neither of them genuinely oppose it. This is the sort of deal they wanted to arrange themselves when they were in government. But they think that their path to success now is to ape Reform UK on everything, because that's worked a treat so far. And Reform UK are only against the deal because they are the element of Brexit which pushes the racism buttons. For some Brexiteers, they didn't like the EU because of high standards for products or because of tax avoidance measures. They like this deal because it doesn't impact any of those things. It's only the racists who hate it. And it is exposing that within the Brexit fraternity. And that is evidenced by the fact that this India trade deal, as far as we can tell from trade experts, in terms of what we know, literally has nothing in it that is remarkable. It's such a bog standard deal that the same type of clauses exist in dozens of other trade deals we had. And Nigel Farage didn't complain about those other trade deals. He's only complaining about them now that it's with India. If that doesn't scream racism, I do not know what does. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.